Welcome to Reaching New Heights with Troy Bell, City Manager, City of Muskegon Heights, where you get to know what you need to know so you'll be in the know. Thank you for tuning in and clicking on for another great show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. here on 1037. We're excited to have you. Got a lot of information to share with you today. No special guests as of now. But lots of information. Um, you need to go ahead and put on your seatbelt, strap in, and we'll just jump right in with all the wonderful things that are happening in Muskegon Heights. Now, did you see the article about the visioning program, the visioning plan that was approved by the DDA? So that got regional news, and so that's an exciting enhancement. We are beginning to focus ourselves around a common vision about what we're going to see our downtown look like, how we're going to invest in the DDA areas, which is the primary area along Broadway for our downtown business district. And so I was so excited to be able to see the press release come out on that, and all the reaction that we got and the feedback that we got was just amazing. I didn't know that putting that plan together and painting a picture of what we're doing and where we're going here in our downtown area as part of the Reaching New Heights campaign would garner so much attention and so much positive feedback. But it just goes to show what we've been talking about. All the good things that are going on in Muskegon Heights, they go on undiscovered or unreported. When we begin to consolidate or conflate all of those great activities together behind a common objective or a focus area, that's when we begin to have that impact, that profound impact that oftentimes goes unnoticed because all of these wonderful activities are spread so thin across our community. And so now we have this vision plan. We've painted a vision. And if you recall, when we started this show way back when, one of the things that we said is the actual scripture that without vision, the people will perish. Well, now we are beginning to roll together that vision. And that's what you're seeing with what was approved by the DDA for our downtown area that envisions the repaving of Broadway. And we've talked about it on the show numerous times. That ask is out there with the legislature. So if you have an opportunity to call Representative Sabo, if you have an opportunity to pick up the phone and call Senator Bumstead, let them know that, hey, we need you, the legislature, to pass that $8 million request for repaving Broadway from end to end. Because what piggybacks off of that is the whole streetscape for our downtown area, going from all the way from Hoyt over to Sanford and then up Peck Street. Um, and if you remember, and it's easy for us to forget, just now, less than a year ago, the lights were not on Broadway. Now it's something that we don't even pay attention to. It's an expectation that we have. It's beautiful to see those lights on. Now, but because they're old and they're in very poor condition, it took us moving a mountain to get those lights on. But with this streetscape plan, we can redo all of that because there's no way that we're going to be able to sustain keeping those lights on in the condition that they're in without spending more money to repair them and upkeep them. And so what we need to do is move towards replacing all of that. And that's part of the downtown plan, the streetscape, the lighting plan, all of that is rolled into remaking our downtown area. And that's what that vision plan is all about. So I encourage you to go out there to reaching the new muskegonheights.org. Take a look at the vision plan that was approved by the DDA. There's still a survey out there, so you can provide feedback on that survey. So take a look at that. It includes a reimagining of Rowan Park, a splash pad, a beautiful statue that is being donated in honor and memoriam of the great things that the band has done. And that statue is envisioned to be a drum major. And that is a donation of somewhere in the neighborhood of $150,000. A huge, larger than life bronze statue And we're calling that installation Band Together for Tiger Pride, because the theme behind that is banding together the unity in our community between the city and the wonderful, rich history of the Muskegon Heights Band and Muskegon Heights High School. And so we are really looking for everybody to come out and get behind the installation of this um, Band Together for Tiger Pride. We're asking the high school graduating classes to purchase a plaque that would be posted prominently on the splash pad, which is another addition to Rowan Park. And so we are in the process of doing the design work on that. And oh, by the way, the design work on that, that's a huge undertaking. The design work on reimagining Rowan Park is a huge undertaking. It's going to cost thousands of dollars. And I am happy to report that we did get notice that we were awarded $100,000 to do exactly that, to do the conceptual design, to do the actual civil and architectural design for our downtown area. And that includes Rowan Park. That includes the concept for the Strand building. That includes the idea of the parking structure, retail space, the whole 9 yards. It also includes opening up Baker Street so that it's no longer for vehicle traffic, but it's only for what they call a walking promenade, whichever way you want to pronounce it, that connects us to the green space that's on the other side of Baker Street and gives us the opportunity to create a courtyard that is connected to residential development. And when we talk about residential development, we talk about retail space, brand new retail space on Broadway with residential above. You see what has gone in the downtown Muskegon area, which you can't really knock it. When it was going in, I was a little skeptical about it, but when you look at it now, it really is a nice touch to their downtown area. I like that, but I think what we have coming to the Heights with this concept is going to be that plus not one, but that plus 10. And so that is a downtown with retail space, residential above, and then on the south side on Columbia, I'm sorry, residential, 2, 3 stories residential. And that creates a nice courtyard that we envision with a community fountain that is connected to our statue Band Together for Tiger Pride, and the splash pad, and gazebos for families to come out and picnic, all kinds of things to make that area interactive for our families, for our kids in the downtown area, but at the same time creating new retail space while we go through and redo Broadway and bring in a new streetscape with new facades for our downtown area. If you blink in just a minute, you're going to see a new downtown remake. And so I am excited about what that vision plan is, the picture that it's illustrating, the picture that it's painting of what our downtown can look like. So if you haven't seen it yet, if you didn't get a chance to peek it on the interview or in the newspaper or in those articles, go out there to reachingthenewmuskegonheights.org and take a look at it. The document's about 30 pages long, but take a look at the drawings and the photos that were created, and you get an idea of what we think it'll look like. Now, it might get tweaked. It might not be exactly the way it is suggested on the diagram or the sketch, but for the most part, that's the direction that we're going with that. So go ahead and take a look at that, and like I said, you can take a moment while you're there to fill out the survey to give feedback on what your thoughts are on how the downtown should look. So other exciting news, we just got word that the demolition documents for the Shops on Sherman project have just been published. And so, what does that mean to you and I? What does that mean to us? We have been waiting for almost a year now for that corner on Peck and Sherman, that structure that's there with the 5 or 6 units to be torn down, to be cleaned up, to make way for a brand new retail residential development. And at the time, we envisioned that that would be the first to come to Muskegon Heights in a number of years. And so it's been a long slog. We're thankful to Eagle for providing us with the $1 million grant to make that happen. And that $1 million grant is designed or intended to help clean up the site because there's a dry cleaners there, and the dry cleaner has chemicals, and the chemicals get in the soil. And so you can't do anything until we clean it up. And that $1 million is there to help us clean that up, to take out the bad soil, bring in the new soil, the good soil, do the demolition, all of that rolled into the start of a new development. So now that the plans have been published, the bid documents have been published. If you know anyone that does demolition work, have them go out to the city's website, reach out to the developer on this project to see if you can get a copy of the plans, so that you can bid on the demolition. And I believe that they're looking at holding a pre-bid meeting on Wednesday of next week. It was tentative, so don't hold me to it. But as of yesterday, actually as of Monday, Wednesday was the date that they were going to be on site in the morning to walk through with all of the would-be contractors that want to do the demolition of this site on this project, to make sure that everybody understands what the expectations are. And from Wednesday, a week after that, whenever that pre-bid meeting is held, then the bids would be due. And we anticipate maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that, the demolition would start. So what that means is add that up. Wednesday, that's a week away. Another week for the bids to come in, that's 2 weeks, and about 3 weeks for them to get the award and get started. We're about 5 weeks away from seeing that building come down, or at least begin to come down. And so that's exciting news, because I know everybody's been on pins and needles. When is it going to happen? What's going on? We heard that there was this project, this big project. It was supposed to be all this, and it's not all that, because it's not going to happen. Well, it is happening. It is in motion. So thank you for being patient. But anytime you use government money, you understand it takes time. You got to check off all the boxes. You got to jump through all the hoops. You got to hop over the hurdles in order to be able to use that $1 million of government money. And we're finally to the finish line. It looks like on this, at least the segment of this that involves getting the bid documents out so that we can move forward. If you haven't looked at it, take a moment to drive down Delano Street. So I've talked about it before, but I want to keep talking about it because it is such a beautiful enhancement. And this is bittersweet news, because it looks great, but it also highlights how far we need to go for the rest of our community. So if you can take a look at that, at least you know what should be coming to the rest of our community. Because what we are going to do is we're going to endeavor, when we do something, that we do it right. And for all intents and purposes, it looks as though, the project's not closed out yet, though, that street was done right. And so we got new curb and gutter in, new driveways, and a nice, fresh, clean pavement that's in place. And that's not just the pavement on the top, that's a full rebuild. So that road should be around for another 20 to 30 years, even longer, if we properly maintain it going forward. And that means that we take care of it. We make sure that drains don't get clogged. Because as Councilwoman Kitchen said on Monday, and she said it perfectly, if we let water sit on the street, it seeps into the pavement, and then it freezes and it thaws and it creates potholes. So the maintenance that we do on our streets, if you see that a drain is clogged, you need to call DPW right away to make sure that somebody gets out and clears that drain so that the water can drain. But what's beautiful about this road is that the curb and gutters in place, the water is draining perfectly, so you don't have water sitting on the street. So again, take a moment, drive down Delano, start on Sanford Street, and head east and take a look at that, because that is what's coming down the road for the rest of our community. So good news on that, exciting news on that. And yes, yet another grant was awarded. So we have the industrial plant grant for close to $100,000. And what is that about? I've talked about it a little bit, but in more in depth. That industrial plant grant. Um, Ms. Bird is saying, "What building? Which building?" I'm not sure which building or what building you're asking about, but go ahead and message again and give me some more detail about what you're asking, and I'll come back and try to answer that. The Where was I? So the grant on industrial park. So what that is we've got an industrial park that's pretty well established on the west side of our community. We have industrial properties on the east side of our community, but we really haven't defined it in terms of a industrial park on the east side. So what this grant is intending to do, it is intending to take a look at both of our industrial parks, to look at the infrastructure that's there, roads, electrical, water, sewer, all of that infrastructure, decide whether it's properly sized in order to serve manufacturing concerns or manufacturing companies that might want to relocate there, and then come up with a plan to either maintain that or tweak it, improve it, and then market those areas on the east side and on the west side as full-fledged industrial parks with all of the incentives, encouragements for companies that might want to be in the area in Muskegon Heights to come to, maybe they're looking at Muskegon, and instead of going to the city of Muskegon or Norton Shores and the like, that they see an opportunity to come to the beautiful community of Muskegon Heights. So in order for us to accelerate that process and um, um, uh, grease the process so that it moves smoothly, we need to make sure that we're marketing it properly and that we have the proper infrastructure in place to be able to serve those types of companies. And what we're really looking for, and we've talked about this, but maybe if you missed it in council meeting, what we're really looking for is businesses that come in that are high volume water users, because we have that as a natural resource or a competitive advantage that we have access to with the awesome filtration plant that we have. And that filtration plant is operating on partial capacity. So we have so much more water that we can process that we haven't even tapped into. But if we bring the businesses here, the companies, the manufacturing that use a lot of water, and that's food processing, microbreweries, the chip manufacturers, those types of things that are water intensive processes, we have a competitive advantage because we have the water, we have the capacity. And so we're asking, with this $100,000 grant for the consultant to come in, put together a plan, put together marketing, do the assessment, not in that order, of course, but come back with a marketing tool, and a strategic plan on how we can bring companies in manufacturing industry into Muskegon Heights. And that means property tax revenues, real property revenues, income tax revenues. And that also means if we do our housing right, new residents for Muskegon Heights, new high paying jobs for residents of Muskegon Heights, so that we can transition people from renting into owning. And the next item of exciting news, we are so close to the process of new houses being built. Again, a long process here, unfortunately delayed 3 or 4 months due to the approval process that got held up in council, but we're here now. And I know a lot of people have said, you said you're going to build houses. I haven't seen anything yet. But again, we're in the middle of COVID, supply chain issues, some of the questions and doubts that were created by the delay. We've worked through that, and we are close to being ready to break ground. So, in a matter of weeks, you should see some lots being cleared, signs going up on lots on the east side of Hackley and that area. That's where they're going to start. I believe Man Street is one of the streets as well. So that is coming. We've got plans in. The plans are under review. And so as soon as they've gone through the review process, we will be in a position to be able to post those on the website so you can take a look at what your next brand new house is going to look like. And I wonder if Senator Bumstead wants to get on the radio because he's calling in it right now. Hey, Senator Bumstead, I got to call you back after I get off the radio show. So he'll call me back, hopefully. But I hope he's calling for good news because we've got one more day before the governor is supposed to sign this casino. So we've done what we can do. We've rallied, we've written, we've called, we've cajoled. And as one lady said the other day, we've batted our eyelashes. Everything that could be done, that should be done, we have done in order to make it clear that we want the governor to sign for this casino. It's jobs, it's income, it's economic development. It is a collaborative and cooperative agreement with the tribe, all exciting things. And so the 16th is supposed to be the deadline, if I understand correctly. So we are hoping that the governor sees fit to focus on the West Shore with this investment and this opportunity to bring jobs into our community, just 2 short miles, less than 2 short miles from our border. And with the MOU that we have in place with the tribe, that means water sales, that means investment from the tribe in housing in Mona Lake Park, and additional hotel space, renovation or construction of new hotel space. All of those things are pluses for our community. And that's what we're looking for. Today, we gave a presentation to the Department of Natural Resources, Michigan's Department of Natural Resources, around a $250,000 grant request to bring new infrastructure to Mona Lake. And so that's improving the beach and the shoreline. That's improvements to the parking lot and the driveways there to be able to pay for paving that. That is to improve the picnic areas. And we're really pushing towards space that could later be used for event gathering, those types of things. And so we were one of the few cities that was invited to come in and do a presentation down in Holland at the Carriage House. And I was told that our presentation went over exceptionally well. So I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, that that means another $250,000 investment in our community, in our parks, because as I said in the presentation, Parks and Rec are the lifeline for kids growing up in a community to be able to have the opportunity to experience the fullness of being kids before life hits them smack in the face. So we need to be able to offer that to our families and to our kids. And yes, the space is down there, but we need to be able to offer that quality space. And that means not all the potholes, that means paving, that means walking paths, it means exercise equipment, it means an improvement to the fencing and the security, and having security cameras so that we have accountability and keeping folks safe down there and keeping the stuff that we invest in putting down there safe. So all of that is rolled into this grant request. So we will find out on that sometime in December, I'm told. So again, that's the long game. We started on this grant application back in February. We might find out by December. And if we find out we're successful, then we're looking at something happening in 2023. So we had a presentation at council meeting about the road projects, which are really not road projects, they're water projects. And so that is before us. Council got a chance to take a look at the bid results from that. Here again is one of those processes that took over a year for us to get to this point, because it's government money, for us to be able to spend the money to go in and put new water pipe in. And with that, of course, we got to tear up the road. And when we tear up the road, or what's left of those roads, when we tear it up, put the pipe in and close it up, then we can put back a brand new road. And so that's part of our strategy of addressing the needs and demands of roads here in Muskegon Heights, because the needs far exceed the revenues that we have. Even with the 4 mills that we get on the street project, on the street millage, That only gives us $370,000 a year. Hopefully that'll go up because property values are going up, but we'll see on that. But still, $370,000 a year doesn't get us much. And so we've got to look at other ways to generate revenue. And these grant projects to fix pipe give us an opportunity with the funding from the state to be able to then come back and pave the roads. And so we will tear up the roads once, put in all the utilities, pave it, and keep it moving. And that is on the south side, Amsterdam, Rotterdam area, 6th and 7th Street, if I'm not mistaken, and then also on the north side on Leahy Street. And so that's exciting news. That's moving forward. The bids came in about $2 million higher than what we expected. So the engineering company that did the design work is trying to do some somersaults to see if we can figure out a way to shoehorn that into the $7 million grant that we got from the revolving loan from the state. Now I said $7 million grant, and I know somebody's going to correct me. It's $7 million worth of funding, of which 5 million is a grant. And so the difference between the 7 and the 5, 2 million and change, is actually a bond issuance that we would be paying back at a 1%, 1.8% rate for the next 20 years. And so that is the cheapest funding that you're going to find. Interest rates are going up. So thank goodness that we're locked in at this point and we just keep moving down the road. So those projects, if they can shoehorn it in and figure out a way to cover that $2 million, should start in late summer. Just the preliminary stuff, probably Leahy Street, the work there. The long haul deep work probably won't get started until midsummer of next year, and those pipes and that road will probably be in by the end of the year next year. So that's the progression on that. But again, exciting news, lots of wonderful things coming. And Ms. Bird just clarified the building for demolition. I was talking about the building on the corner of Peck and Sherman. And that is the building that's set for demolition as part of the Eagle grant and the development there. So now you have that. I think that's what you were asking about. So there was a question from Mr. Smith about the developer or the entity that is scheduled to open up the concessions at Mona Lake. That project is still in process. Grant has taken longer than I would have liked. But again, these things take time, and we're still moving one step in front of the other. Hey, if it was left up to me, it would have been done yesterday. But we've got to work through many obstacles. And like we said in the very beginning, this building, you know better than I, because I'm new to the community, relatively new, that building's been closed for over 25, some say longer than that, years, or non-functional. And so we're working through those issues so that building can be opened up. But all the things that we're trying to do around Mona Lake, including Juneteenth, which is right around the corner, we'll talk about that, is an effort to bring more wealth and opportunity to our community by leveraging this wonderful jewel of ours. And yes, the pavilion is part of that. That project is still in motion, slower than I would have liked, of course, but it's still in motion. And so we want to see those concessions open. We want to be able to rent out equipment and stuff down there for the lake. And we want to see, if possible, a new jazz restaurant come in there. And then, that's the concept behind it. And that's what we're moving forward towards. So thank you for that question, Mr. Smith. So what else are the wonderful things coming on? I mentioned Juneteenth, 17th, 18th, and the 19th. We have Juneteenth, and we are kicking off this year with a 3-day celebration. And I want to bring up what that schedule looks like. So I've got it accurate. So last year, we had the wonderful fireworks show, which was preceded with a prayer breakfast, which was preceded with that was preceded with prayer breakfast, and not a breakfast, I'm sorry, prayer ceremony. um, and that was wonderful. We prayed for the community. We had bounce houses out there. We had snow cones, face painting, cotton candy, all of those things out there, and it was a wonderful time. And so what we've done is taken that and expanded it into 3 days worth of activities, kicking off on Friday at 5 p.m., going from 5 to 9 p.m. With Fada Wayne. That is going to be kicked off with a rotary mixer. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's invited. There's going to be hella food out there. The Councilman Smith is going to be doing his famous fish fry, which I have yet to be able to enjoy. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, all kinds of other food is available there. We're talking about food that will will tickle your taste buds, from what I'm told. So that is from 5 to 9 p.m. And then from 5 to 7 p.m. is Fada Wayne and the Machine from 7 to 10. Then on Saturday, we have the Business Mixer. And this is an event on Saturday, a reception, a mixer with food, beverages. We'll have the beer tent out there. So on both nights, on Friday and Saturday. Saturday kicks off at 5 o'clock. Open mic from 9 to 11, and food and mixers from 5 to 9. So come on out for that. We've got multiple food trucks that are signed up to come out. So it's going to be good food, good eats, lots of good music, and a good time. And I think you'll appreciate. We've got a new stage for the event, which will be a nice touch, I think. And then we come right back on Sunday. Vendors will be setting up from 1 to 6. We've got live music that starts at 3. The Core from Detroit from 3 to 6, and Unique Soul. And then from at 8 p.m. is Joey King Tut Watson from Huntsville, Alabama. So that should be some good music. And that is again at 8 p.m. And then followed up at 10:20, I think 10:26 is the fireworks show. And I mentioned it before, but in case you didn't hear it, excited about this fireworks show. Um, I know you're going to be tired of me saying this, but I got to say it. I grew up watching fireworks over the Capitol, over the Washington Monument, over the Potomac River. Some of the best, high price, high class fireworks that in the country for our capital. And the fireworks show that these folks put on last year was brought tears to everybody's eyes. It was phenomenal, hands down the best fireworks show that I have seen in my life. And so I'm excited to have this same group come back. And this year, what they're going to do for us to take it to the next level, in their words, is put it to music. So we're going to see what that's all about when they come out on Sunday night. So bring your kids out, bouncy houses again. Food, I already said that. Food, did I say food? And cotton candy, snow cones, face painting. There'll be a number of vendors out there, nonprofits. I know. I think Muskegon Family Care is going to have tables. Hackley Community Care is going to have a presence out there. A number of nonprofit organizations. I expect to see United Way, and then so on and so on. So it's going to be a wonderful event. And thank you so much to all the folks that worked hard to make this happen. I mean, we've raised close to $30,000 in donations. We're still pushing forward for donations because we don't have everything covered yet, but we know that the people that we can count on in this community are going to come through. So that last $10,000, $15,000, we will get that before we kick off on Friday. Yeah, I know it's coming. People are telling me it's coming. So thank you for all the wonderful donations. We got here to that number with a little bit from everybody. And so that shows you community. It doesn't have to be somebody that strokes a $30,000 check, although that would be nice because we could do so many other things next year with a title event. But we got there through everybody giving a little bit, and when a lot of people give a little bit, we can go a long way. And so I expect to see you out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's enjoy Mona Lake Park for the jewel that it is. And I'm going to pause here and say, take a look at one of the other messages that's posted. And so I want you to go online, click online, and take a look at what Victor Larson has put out there so that you can go ahead and read that, because it's an important message. It looks like it's a little bit too long for me to make it through it here on the radio, but take a look at it, click on and read through. There's about 2 paragraphs in there. So take a look at that. So with that, we are going to take a brief break and then come right back and get into some additional good news about what's going on in Muskegon Heights, because you're here on Reaching New Heights, where you get to know what you need to know so that you'll be in the know. Come right back in a few minutes, and we'll be right back at it. Thanks.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
When smoking gives you COPD, you learn to lie a little bit. You make up excuses like, I have to get my keys. You guys go on. Anything so you can walk at your own pace. I used to do that all the time. Those lies don't work anymore. My tip is, the worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Okay, looks like we are back. So let's start with some of the other announcements that we have here. Just some house cleaning stuff. If you're a business, commercial property here in Muskegon Heights, and you are using a waste hauler, in order to take your dumpster or your trash away, you got to make sure that waste hauler is registered in the city of Muskegon Heights to do business. We have identified or discovered that we got a number of waste haulers that are dropping off dumpsters and trailers, and doing business with business dumpsters that are not registered, that don't have a license, haven't paid their dues, so to speak. So if you are using a hauler, you need to check them, because we've got 12 that typically do business in our community, and only 2 of them have paid their license fee and their hauler's fee. Got to have a business license, and you have to have a license to haul. So the deadline for that was May 1st. We are well beyond that, and right now they're moving into some huge fines. And so it is illegal to do business in Muskegon Heights without a business license. It is illegal to do business in Muskegon Heights without the appropriate professional license to go along with it. In this case, it's a business license and a hauling license. If you are doing a food truck, you got to have a license in order to do the food truck, in addition to all the insurances that go along with that. A business license for food trucks, the food truck fee. If you are doing auto work, repair work, you got to have a license for that. If you are doing working on cars, doing restoration and those kinds of things, you got to have a license for that. So all those things require you to have a license. So you need to make sure that everybody that you're doing business with, if you are a company here in Muskegon Heights and you've got haulers, they need to be licensed. If you're doing business in Muskegon Heights, I'm telling you here on the radio, you got to have a license, and we are going to start cracking down on that, because we got folks that are doing business without a license. So far, what we've done is, if we catch you, you got to come in and pay for your license. What we're getting ready to do now is, if we catch you, you got to pay the penalty, the fine, and you might not even get the license. And if you don't get the license and you're still doing business, we start writing civil infractions that can then end up becoming a warrant. So heads up on that. Next, I wanted to tell you about, let's go into our event calendar. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if we have all the pages to it. Let's see. So what you see here on your screen is what's left of June and July. This is something that you will be able to access on the Muskegon Heights website. We are also handing these out. It's a nice handy dandy brochure that captures the events in the area and highlights the events that are intended for Muskegon Heights. So you will see this coming to a theater near you. So we will have those available down at City Hall. If you want to just get a peep on what events are coming up and what the dates are. It also has some handy information about when you can park your car on the street, and when you can park your car on the terrace, when city council meetings occur. All those types of things that we lose track of are all in this brochure. You can access it on our website. You can access it via City Hall. We're handing them out. So please look for this new addition to communicate what's going on in Muskegon Heights. And so, in addition to that, we are in the process of refreshing that website. So I've seen some preliminary drafts of our refreshed website. I think you're going to really like what it looks like when it's done. So again, good things that are coming down the pipe. It's a whole new look. It's a lot cleaner. It's a lot easier to navigate, to get in, to get out, to get to what you want. And so I'm excited about that coming, and I appreciate the fact that the mayor and the council had the vision to include this in the budget so that we can start scraping the rust off of some of the things that are old and are antiquated, that really need to be moved along so that we can bring in fresh new ideas. And so this is a piece of that. Speaking about that, the American Rescue Plan money. Um, American Rescue Plan is important, an important contribution to our community. The council has allocated a portion of those funds through the budget process and through the deficit elimination plan. With what's left, currently it's being considered by a focus group, a cross section of residents across the city who have put together some ideas and thoughts as a result of the process that they've gone through with a consultant to help focus us and direct us and coming up with ideas and plans on how to use those funds. The consultant has put together a survey that kind of compiles some of the questions that we want the community to give us input on, or at least the focus group is soliciting your input on these ideas. And so what I want you to do is go to our website, and that would be muskegonheights.us, https :// muskegonheights.us /ARPA /ARPA ARPA, and you should be able to get to the survey from there. The survey is on the consultant's website, but we have a link through this to take you to that. And our goal is to get to at least 200 survey results. And so once those survey results come in, when we get to that 200 mark, you will be able to see a compilation of what you've said and what other people have said, and the ideas associated with the suggestions on how to spend the remaining ARPA dollars that are available. Now, just a little note about the process. This is just a focus group, representatives from a cross section of the community that were pulled together by the mayor to have this conversation. The idea is that all of this will be compiled by the consultant and then presented back to the council with your feedback and input. And the council would have an opportunity to say, we like that, we don't like that, we want to change this, we want to throw it out and start from the beginning. So all of that will come back to the council, and the council will ultimately decide what they want to do and how to allocate the remaining funds from the American Rescue Plan Act. So There's been some people who have been of the mindset that the money has been spent or it's being spent on this and on that, that money's being given to developers. None of that is true. The only money that has been allocated was allocated through the budget process and through the deficit elimination plan to be able to shore up the budget that the city has, because we have an obligation to be able to get out of a deficit within 5 years. And we had to put together a plan that would allow us to be able to get out of the deficit within 5 years. And so, in the approval of the deficit elimination plan, the council identified the usage of American Rescue Plan funds in order to be able to show that we can get out of that deficit in 5 years. Now, just as a caveat to that, this is on paper, this is a plan. And if we are able to continue the economic boom that we are embracing now, and I've used the word renaissance, and I don't use that loosely because I think that's an important term for us to throw around. As we embrace this renaissance, if we begin to build new houses, if we are able to get all these gaps in our tax base filled in, or at least a significant part of it, to put a dent in it, that's going to be able to generate the tax revenues that will allow us to build our way out of this deficit. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because we're in the home stretch, but we cannot fire or lay off or furlough our way into a balanced budget, because we are at bare minimum now. We have the right number to go forward with our police department. We have just added new firefighters to our fire department to be able to increase the staffing there. We're about where we need to be for that because we've been running long and lean, hard and heavy, with with less hands on deck. And now that's where we need to be. We can't go backwards. We have a public works department that is 1/6 the size that it needs to be. We have barely enough employees on the staff side in City Hall to be able to cover the duties and responsibilities that need to be done effectively and efficiently. So firing and furloughing is not going to get us there. We have to generate revenue. We have to fill in these gaps with houses. We have to renovate, rehab existing houses in order to get us out. And I said all that to say that if that continues in that direction, that should free up money that was originally in the plan to be used out of the ARPA funding to be used for other things. So that's the hope. But at least for now, the amount that we're dealing with is that you'll see when you go out there for the survey, because it's all broken down for you in the survey. Approximately next 2 to 3 weeks, the survey will be open, and you'll have an opportunity to be able to get in and address that. So, question came up about what's going on with the streets. We have a brand new kettle that is out there now, cranking out, filling the holes and potholes in the street. Um, it's amazing what you can do when you have the right tools. You try to hammer a nail with a screwdriver, and you can get it done, but you'll be there a week. With this new kettle, with the additional capacity of it, with the features that it has, we're able to do almost twice as much in the same amount of period, in the same period of time as we were able to do with the old kettle. And so we've got that one kettle that's operating now. We've got another kettle that is in to be rebuilt, and we have another kettle that's being salvaged. So here in the next few weeks, we hopefully will have the rebuilt kettle back. But right now, we're going hot and heavy with the new kettle that we've leased, and we're looking at possibly purchasing that instead of just leasing it or renting it, because it's been so effective. And so we put that together with another kettle. We've also reached out to other communities nearby to let them know if they have a kettle that's available for us to use. We can borrow that in order to speed up the process of patching the streets. But that's where we are. We're not nearly as far along as we should be because of staffing and equipment. But now that we've got a decent piece of equipment, DPW is breaking speed records around putting that kettle out there and getting the potholes filled. And on that note, let me also mention that thank thank you, council members, for approving the new fleet management solution. Um, it- like I said, it's amazing what you can do when you have the right equipment. DPW has been operating with subpar trucks and vehicles. Yesterday, we only had one vehicle that was functional out of seven. These vehicles are over the hill and past their prime, well past their prime, and it's time for us to go through the systematic process of replacing those vehicles. And with the enterprise fleet management solution, that will allow us to replace these vehicles here in short order. The first nine of the 15 are DPW vehicles. The other six are sprinkled through other departments. But you soon, and they're telling me at least last week that if we got our order in to replace these vehicles, that we were looking at getting new vehicles in place in 6 to 8 weeks. So again, supply chain has been doing some really funny things with anything that you order, but I'm excited to see what it looks like when we have brand new Muskegon Heights trucks out there that we can be proud of, the way it looks, that reflects what we want our community to look like, with our logo on it, out there knocking it out, getting the work done in our community. So that is another piece of good news moving forward with that contract, to be able to replace and salvage the old vehicles and bring in new vehicles. That's exciting. And what they will be doing over the next 6 years is gradually taking those vehicles that are over their mileage or older than, I think it's 10, 12 years, and replacing those vehicles with newer vehicles. And in case you were worried about that, because we are in a deficit, and here I am talking about buying new vehicles, we will be able to save money in order to do that, because the amount of money that we're spending today on repairing those vehicles, the amount of money that we're spending on gas guzzlers that were built 12, 15 years ago, we can get new vehicles without the repair and maintenance costs that are better and more efficient on gas. And we all know, what's hitting us in the pocket now is the cost of gas. And you've got a vehicle that's getting 6 miles to a gallon versus a vehicle that's getting 22 miles to a gallon. That's going to save us money. So in this program that we're about to implement, that council approved, we will be saving on average $26,000 a year over the next 10 years. But in the first 4 to 5 years, we're saving almost $100,000 in the first 4 to 5 years. And then it gradually evens out to about an average of $26,000 a year. So what I'm telling you is that we get new vehicles that we can rely on, that can get the job done, and we're going to get them at a savings. And so that is the way that we bring Muskegon Heights to the next level. That's how we elevate our community, by being innovative in the things that we do in order to find a way to do more with less. So I am going to wrap it up here by taking a look at some of the comments. I already hit on the streets. Let's see. And for Juneteenth, if you're concerned about crossing, and I don't know if this is what Miss Bird was talking about, but it did remind me, we will have patrol officers down there at Seaway and Hoyt to be able to make sure that anybody that wants to get down to the lake for Juneteenth can get down there safely. So please come to the parking lots at the hotels there by Mona Lake. You can park there if you don't want to drive into the lake, or if there's overflow, and we will make sure that you get safely across that street. We have patrol officers there to stop traffic and to make sure that you can get across safely. So if you had any concerns about that, don't worry. Also, I should mention, on Sunday, we will have expanded parking on the soccer field on Sunday. So if you don't want to get out of your car to watch the fireworks show, you can drive in. You got to get in before, I think, 9:30 is the latest that you can come in, because we got to stop traffic. If you can get in before 9:30, we've allocated additional parking on the soccer field near the tennis courts and basketball courts back there near the tennis courts, for folks to be able to come in and park. and be able to watch the show from their cars. Last year, we had to turn vehicles away, as I said. So this year, we're prepared with a new parking plan to be able to cram in as many vehicles safely as we can. So let's see. What are the new homes being built? When are the new homes being built? You missed that, Miss Bird. I already talked about that. And let's see, what else? Am I missing anything else before I wrap this up? Let's see. Airline Road is another good location to watch for what? What's up? Okay. I think I've covered all the comments and questions that are there. And Miss Bird, you can give me a ring after the show and I can fill you in on that. But we are at the close of our show. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in for this news and these updates here about Muskegon Heights. Make a note of the fact that next week we do not have a council meeting. The next council meeting will be 2 weeks away. That'll be on the 27th. So you can Zoom in for the council meeting or you can come into chambers. So please come in and be part of the democracy in our community. Excited about all the things that are happening. Thank you so much for tuning in to Reach New Heights with Troy Bell, the city manager, City of Muskegon Heights, where you get to know what you need to know so you'll be in the know. Thank you. 1037 The Beat, and be blessed.